Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal James Coy. We would like to acknowledge the current members of the 6th Aviation Regiment, Holsworthy Barracks, who are in attendance today. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL and Services Club Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching this ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors and students on behalf of the following schools. From Queensland, Glasshouse Christian School, and from Victoria, Mosque Eel Park Primary School from Endeavour Hills. Australia's Federation Guard is the tri-service ceremonial unit of the Australian Defence Force. They provide a ceremonial presence at civil and military events and during visits to Australia by foreign dignitaries. The Guard will now dismount the catapult party from the tomb of the unknown Australian soldier. Please stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Catapult party A, turn! Catapult party priest, off!
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've got
Students, you may be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private John Dunlop. John Dunlop was born in Aghadaway, Londonderry, North Ireland in 1877. He attended Drogheda National School in Aghadaway, but little else is known of his early life. According to his sister Sarah, he served in South Africa during the Boer War with the 2nd Regiment of Life Guards and reached the rank of Sergeant Major. Dunlop immigrated to Australia in 1914 and was working as a farmer in Queensland when the First World War began. He enlisted in Brisbane on the 31st of March 1915, but made no mention of his previous service with the British Army on his attestation papers. After his initial training, Dunlop was allotted to the 6th Reinforcement to the 9th Battalion. He embarked from Brisbane on the 12th of June aboard the transport ship Karula, bound for Egypt. After a brief stop, he was sent to Gallipoli, where he arrived on the 4th of August. He was taken on strength of the 9th Battalion the same day. Though the August offensive began in the following days, the 9th Battalion played a defensive role in the southern sector of Anzac. Because of poor diet and unsanitary conditions on Gallipoli, Dunlop developed dysentery and was evacuated to Malta in September. His condition did not respond immediately, and he was returned to Egypt. By the time the men of the 9th Battalion returned to Egypt in early January 1916, Dunlop had recovered sufficiently to rejoin them. At the end of March, the 9th Battalion sailed for France, arriving in Marseille on the 4th of April. The battalion went into the front line near Armentières for the first time in May. In June, a raiding party was organised by Captain Maurice Wilder Nelligan for an attack on the German positions at Sugarloaf. Dunlop was one of those men who volunteered for the raid. Training was constant in the weeks leading up to the raid, and nightly patrols in no man's land were conducted to familiarise the men with the ground at night. Towards midnight on the 1st of July, the raiders split into 3 parties, set out. Dunlop was amongst the bayonet men in the right flank party and was badly wounded in his left leg soon after entering the German forward trench. The raid lasted a matter of minutes, and when the signal to retire was given, the Australians withdrew. Dunlop and a number of other wounded men were carried back to the Australian trenches, though several others had been left behind due to the heavy German counterattacks. He was transferred to No. 10 Stationary Hospital in Saint-Omer on the 3rd of July, where his left leg was amputated. The combination of the wound and operation was too much for Dunlop, whose condition rapidly deteriorated. He died on the 5th of July. He was 39 years old. Dunlop was laid to rest the following day in Longines Souvenir Cemetery. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among 60,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. This is one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private John Dunlop, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, neither years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Catapult party priest and off!
lest we forget.
Catapult party out. Arms! Catapult party quick! Arch!
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We'd like to thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.